wide open spaces, and the kind of close-knit family relationships that seem increasingly rare in today's fast-paced world. This rural upbringing taught her the importance of staying connected to her roots and never forgetting where she came from, regardless of how famous or successful she might become. When it comes to Hollywood changes, few have been as jaw-dropping or as inspiring as Melissa McCarthy's. Known for her sharp wit, comedic timing, and bigger-than-life roles, Melissa has always stood out. But recently, it's not just her performances that have people talking. It's her entire transformation. From her appearance to her mindset, Melissa is turning heads in the best way possible. And you don't want to miss this. Born on August 26, 1970 in the small town of Plainfield, Illinois, Melissa Ann McCarthy grew up in a world far removed from Hollywood's bright lights and red carpets. Raised on a working family farm alongside her siblings in a traditional Catholic household, she was surrounded by the values of hard work, humility, and family unity that would later ground her throughout her amazing career. Her parents, Sandra and Michael McCarthy, provided a loving, stable foundation that helped shape the woman who would eventually become one of America's most beloved and successful comedic actresses. The farm life that defined Melissa's childhood was filled with daily chores. What many people don't realize is that comedy and entertainment talent actually runs in the McCarthy family. Melissa is the cousin of actress and model Jenny McCarthy, making performance ability a true family affair. This genetic connection to the entertainment world suggests that Melissa's natural comedic instincts and ability to connect with audiences might have been written in her DNA from the very beginning. With ancestral roots tracing back to County Cork, Ireland, along with some German and English heritage mixed throughout her family tree, Melissa's background perfectly reflects the rich cultural mixture of American immigrant families who built their lives through sheer determination, hard work, and unwavering faith in the American dream. After graduating from St. Francis Academy, which is now known as Joliet Catholic Academy, located in Joliet, Illinois, Melissa took her first steps toward higher education at Southern Illinois University Carbondale. The Catholic education she received emphasized not just academic achievement, but also community service, moral responsibility, and treating others with kindness and respect. However, the call of comedy and performance would soon prove too strong to resist for someone with Melissa's natural talents and creative spirit. The safe, predictable path of finishing college and settling into a traditional career simply couldn't compete with the exciting, uncertain world of entertainment that called to her artistic soul. The journey from small-town farm girl to Hollywood star wasn't immediate, glamorous, or easy by any stretch of the imagination. Like countless aspiring performers before and after her, Melissa started from the very bottom of the entertainment ladder, working the tough stand-up comedy circuit in Los Angeles. These were tough times filled with late nights performing in small, often nearly empty clubs for audiences who weren't always nice, supportive, or kind to newcomers trying to find their voice. After gaining some valuable experience in the Los Angeles comedy scene, she eventually made her way to New York City, widely considered the comedy capital of the world. The New York comedy scene was both more challenging and potentially more rewarding than what she had experienced on the West Coast. Here she had to prove herself night after night in front of some of the most picky, tough, and knowledgeable audiences in the entire country. Her professional breakthrough came through the Groundlings, the legendary improvisational and sketch comedy group based in Los Angeles. This organization has served as a launching pad for countless comedy stars over the decades, including many who went on to join Saturday Night Live and star in major Hollywood films. Melissa threw herself into the collaborative, creative environment with a kind of enthusiasm and dedication that immediately set her apart from other hopeful performers. The training she received at the Groundlings was intensive and comprehensive, covering not just comedy performance, but also writing, character development, and the crucial ability to think quickly on your feet during live performances. These skills became the foundation of everything Melissa would achieve later in her career, allowing her to bring depth and authenticity to every role she would eventually play. But perhaps most surprisingly to fans who only know her mainstream work, during her time in New York City, Melissa explored a completely different and unexpected side of performance art. Under the creative stage name Miss Y, she performed as a drag queen, even appearing at the famous Wigstock Festival. This experience, though vastly different from her later mainstream Hollywood success, helped her develop the fearless, uninhibited approach to comedy and performance that would become her unmistakable trademark. Fast forward to today, and at 54 years old, Melissa continues to surprise, delight, and inspire audiences around the world with her incredible range and unwavering commitment to her craft. Her recent appearance on Saturday Night Live perfectly demonstrates why she remains at the absolute top of her comedic game after more than 2 decades in the business. during the show that celebrated Martin Short's induction into the coveted Five Timers Club, an honor that she herself already holds, making her part of an extremely exclusive group of performers. Melissa completely stole the show with a parking spot battle sketch that had viewers talking for days afterward. Playing Martin Short's wife in the memorable sketch, Melissa delivered a performance that was simultaneously outrageous and brilliantly crafted. She spit iced coffee at a car window, wiped it off with her chest, and acted out various fake threats with such complete commitment and perfect comedic timing that social media platforms exploded with praise from both fans and fellow performers. Comments flooded Instagram and Twitter with viewers declaring it probably the funniest thing on SNL in years and celebrating how Melissa McCarthy absolutely killed it. This particular performance showcased everything that makes Melissa special as a performer. Her willingness to fully commit to physical comedy, her perfect timing, and her ability to find genuine human truth in even the most absurd situations. It reminded everyone why she has remained relevant, beloved, and in demand throughout her career. This kind of fearless, intelligent physical comedy has been Melissa's calling card throughout her entire professional journey. From her breakout role as the lovable, quirky Sookie St. James on the beloved television series Gilmore Girls to her starring turn as the title character in the hit sitcom Mike and Molly, she has consistently brought warmth, genuine humor, and complete authenticity to every character she has portrayed. Her transition from television success to major motion picture stardom happened naturally, though not without its unique challenges. Her scene-stealing performance as Megan in Bridesmaids announced to the world that she was ready for leading roles in major Hollywood productions. This breakthrough was followed by starring turns in The Heat alongside Sandra Bullock, Identity Thief with Jason Bateman, Tammy, which she also co-wrote with her husband, the controversial but beloved Ghostbusters reboot, and most recently her voice work as Ursula in Disney's live-action version of A Little Mermaid. What makes Melissa truly special in the entertainment industry isn't just her undeniable comedic talent. It's her authenticity, relatability, and remarkable courage, especially when it comes to discussing body image, self-acceptance, and the unrealistic standards that society, particularly Hollywood, places on women. Throughout her career, she has faced questions, comments, and outright attacks about her weight and appearance that would never, under any circumstances, be directed at male performers of equivalent stature and success. She has handled these inappropriate and often cruel situations with remarkable grace while also fearlessly calling out the obvious double standards that exist in the entertainment industry. One particularly painful and completely inappropriate example occurred during what should have been a routine promotional interview with a male journalist who repeatedly asked offensive questions about her size and weight. The interviewer, displaying a shocking lack of professionalism and basic human decency, kept returning to the same insulting theme, asking if she was shocked that she actually works in this business at a tremendous size. Melissa later recalled in interviews how all the blood drained from her face during this deeply uncomfortable and humiliating exchange. Despite the shock and hurt she was experiencing, she managed to maintain her composure and repeatedly redirect the conversation back to her work, the script, and her collaboration with directors and fellow actors. After the interview concluded, their producer immediately approached Melissa to apologize, assuring her that those offensive comments would never be aired and expressing genuine shame about what had occurred. But for Melissa, this type of treatment wasn't an isolated incident. It had become all too familiar throughout her career. She has spoken openly and honestly about how this kind of inappropriate questioning happens regularly to women in the entertainment industry. While male actors with similar or even larger body types are rarely, if ever, subjected to the same level of scrutiny, judgment, or outright cruelty about their physical appearance. Another particularly hurtful and public incident occurred at a major press conference where a journalist from a well-known media organization repeatedly asked why she felt the need to be so grotesque in her film roles. This attack happened in front of approximately 100 people, including other journalists, publicists, and industry professionals. The questioner criticized everything from her appearance to her acting choices, saying she looked sloppy, wasn't wearing enough makeup, had messy hair, and was too loud and aggressive in her performances. Melissa's response to this public humiliation was both measured and powerfully effective. She calmly but firmly pointed out that he would never ask these types of questions of a male actor playing similar roles. She explained that she was simply portraying characters based on real women who exist in the world and suggested that perhaps he needed to get out more if he didn't think such women were authentic and worthy of representation. These difficult and often painful experiences have made Melissa an increasingly strong and vocal advocate for body positivity, realistic representation in Hollywood, and fair treatment of all performers regardless of their physical appearance. She has used her platform and success to shine a light on issues that many people prefer to ignore or pretend don't exist. She has been refreshingly honest and open about the specific challenges she has faced in finding fashion designers willing to create clothing for her for major events like award shows, red carpet appearances, and movie premieres. 2 Academy Award seasons ago, she approached 5 or 6 high-level, internationally renowned designers who regularly create custom gowns for A-list celebrities. And every single one of them declined to work with her. This rejection wasn't based on scheduling conflicts, creative differences, or budget considerations. It was simply because she didn't fit their narrow definition of who deserved to wear their creations. This systematic rejection from the fashion world led Melissa to speak out publicly about the frustrating limitations placed on women who don't conform to industry standards. She has described how at certain sizes available clothing seemed designed like tarps with holes in them, with everything looking like conservative mother-of-the-bride attire that was designed to hide rather than flatter or celebrate the wearer. She rarely found anything she could put on and genuinely love or feel confident wearing. Instead, she was forced to settle for items that were simply on and not a garbage bag. This practical but depressing approach to fashion is something that millions of women around the world can relate to. In response to these frustrating limitations and industry-wide discrimination, Melissa decided to take matters into her own hands and become part of the solution. She began designing clothes for Lane Bryant, a major retailer specializing in plus-size fashion, and eventually launched her own comprehensive fashion line called Melissa McCarthy 77 in 2015. Her motivation for entering the fashion industry was both simple and powerful. If 70% of women in the United States wear size 14 or above, why should they be made to feel unworthy, unfashionable, or forced to accept inferior clothing options? She found it not only strange, but also economically foolish that the fashion industry would consistently ignore and alienate its largest potential customer base. Though the 77 line is no longer in active production, Melissa continues working on new fashion projects and collaborations. She has personally experienced every shape and size throughout her adult life, and intimately understands the frustration of wanting to wear modern, stylish clothing that fits well, feels comfortable, and makes the wearer feel confident and beautiful. But here's the thing. Melissa's complex relationship with weight and body image began much earlier in life than many people realize, as it unfortunately does for countless women and girls. Looking back at her teenage years with a perspective that only comes with time and experience, she now realizes that even as a high school cheerleader who was extremely active in sports, gymnastics, and tennis, she was constantly worried about her weight despite being a perfectly healthy size 6. Old photographs from this period show a fit, athletic, vibrant young woman who was clearly in excellent physical condition. Yet, her memories from this time are filled with anxiety and self-doubt about her appearance. The significant weight gain that would later become a source of public discussion began after she made the life-changing move to Los Angeles and joined the Groundlings comedy group. She went from regularly walking long distances and maintaining an active lifestyle to spending most of her time sitting in cars, attending meetings, and participating in indoor activities. Additionally, she began eating processed convenient foods instead of the fresh home-cooked meals she had grown up with. She gained approximately 25 pounds during this period. It was a change that occurred slowly enough that she didn't fully realize what was happening until it had already become noticeable. Over the years that followed, Melissa tried various approaches to health, fitness, and weight management. In 2011, she achieved a 30 pounds weight loss through piloxing, an innovative exercise program that combines the core strengthening benefits of Pilates with the cardiovascular advantages of boxing. When preparing for her physically demanding role in the action comedy Spy in 2015, she worked intensively with martial arts instructors to get in shape for the movie's fight scenes. One of the most dramatic approaches she took was after landing her career-defining role as Sookie on Gilmore Girls. She spent 4 months following a doctor-supervised all-liquid diet that resulted in a 70 pounds weight loss. While this achieved rapid results, Melissa has been completely honest about the fact that it was neither sustainable nor healthy. She felt starved and crazy half the time and would never recommend this approach to anyone. More recently, Melissa has achieved a weight loss of approximately 75 pounds over several years, but her approach has become much more balanced and sustainable. Rather than pursuing dramatic restrictions or extreme measures, she has concentrated on making better food choices and incorporating more physical activity into her daily routine. When asked about her methods, Melissa has been characteristically down-to-earth in her responses. She once joked that her secret was living a super boring life, going to bed early, avoiding excessive indulgence, and maintaining consistent healthy habits. While this was said with humor, It reveals a mature approach to health that prioritizes consistency over dramatic gestures. Perhaps most importantly, Melissa has learned to stop obsessing over her weight in ways that were ultimately counterproductive and emotionally harmful. She has spoken openly about how she made a conscious decision to stop worrying constantly about the number on the scale, stop overanalyzing every food choice, and stop being rigid and punitive in her approach to health and fitness. This mental shift has been absolutely key to her success in maintaining a healthier lifestyle over time. By removing the anxiety, guilt, and constant self-monitoring that had previously characterized her relationship with food and exercise, she was able to make choices based on what made her feel good rather than what satisfied external expectations. This healthier philosophy extends naturally to how she approaches parenting her two teenage daughters, Vivian and Georgette, with her husband and frequent collaborator Ben Falcone. As a mother, Melissa is absolutely determined to model healthy behaviors and attitudes for her girls rather than focusing on weight, appearance, or conforming to societal beauty standards. The McCarthy-Falcone household maintains a kitchen stocked with nutritious homemade foods like vegetable soups that they prepare together. They avoid processed foods and emphasize fresh, wholesome ingredients. However, they also maintain a balanced approach that allows for treats and special occasions without guilt or shame. Most importantly, Melissa has made it clear that she never wants her daughters to feel bad about their bodies or develop negative self-image issues. She has said she would rather take a punch to the face than have her children feel ashamed of themselves or their appearance. She recognizes that there's currently an epidemic of girls and women feeling inadequate based on comparing themselves to the tiny percentage of the population that fits Hollywood's traditional beauty standards. She's determined to break this cycle in her own family and help her daughters develop confidence and self-acceptance. As for what comes next in Melissa's ongoing journey, she continues to focus on getting healthier and feeling better rather than achieving any specific number on a scale. She has been refreshingly open with fans about her lifestyle changes and commitment to long-term wellness. The entertainment industry continues to evolve in terms of representation and acceptance, and Melissa has been an important part of pushing those boundaries forward. The determined farm girl from Illinois who started doing stand-up in small clubs has evolved into a powerful force for positive change in Hollywood and beyond. What do you think of Melissa's journey so far? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that inspire and amaze.